Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of biology. Of course, today we'll continue our study on respiration, and we're trying to double up so that we'll be done with respiration on time so that we can enter into excretion, okay? The excretory system rather. All right, so do not forget that these tutorials, these episodes, all of them were brought to you by the O3 School JAMB CBT practice application, all in a view for you to pass your exam at once. If you have made your decision, say me, and no go write JAMB for my family, we know they write JAMB twice, okay? Please get that app immediately, activate it, okay? And make sure you tell your enemies too, and your friends, okay, and your well-wishers, and those who are wishing you bad also to get the app. Okay, because if they do not succeed, okay, they'll test you, they do them. All right, so please get the app, activate it, start using it immediately. Before we talk about the features of this application, let us see a JAMB past question from the app. This is a 1995 question number 16, right? It says that the end product of glycolysis in plants and animal is A says pyruvic acid, B says citric acid, C says aspartic acid, D says malic acid. All right, so we'll come back to this question and many more at the end of the class and not before. In fact, you see that you don't have to even answer it because it has become very easy. Because at O3 schools, we pride ourselves in giving you value first. Let us teach you. After we have taught you, then answering questions will be the least of your problems. Okay, the app has all the past questions that you need for your exam for all subjects under the practice for UTME. Okay, as you can see, the features being shown on your left and your right. Those are all features in the application, many features that is designed to make you succeed. There's also a classroom feature with lecture notes and JAMB syllabus, and those lecture notes, they are structured. Those class notes are structured according to the word JAMB syllabus for you to study. If you are studying without a syllabus, you are doing yourself. Okay. So also in that word classroom, okay, there's also what a study plan. You can create a study plan, crash all of your syllabus into that study plan within the time frame that you want, and finish it on time. Okay. So making you want to finish your syllabus within the shortest possible time. Okay, also there's a question search feature. You can search for questions, just like we went to the app now, go to question chat, go to biology, search for cellular respiration. Okay, it all came out. You can search for anything, glycolysis. You can search for anything, and questions under that topic will come out for you to answer. Then there's a mock challenge on the app every Saturday. That is the bomb. That is what makes our app different from every app that you ever see. No matter how they copy us, okay, you will know that our own is different. Okay, there's a mock challenge on the app every Saturday where you compete with everybody writing JAMB for this year. Compete with them to win amazing prizes and to get it to JAMB past questions, JAMB likely exam questions. You see your score released every Saturday, just like normal JAMB. So you know that there's no way you score below your highest mark in your mock exam. Okay, please participate in the mock, download the application and activate it. Activation is less than the fee. The activation fee is less than the price of rice and chicken in a good restaurant. Go and check now. Okay, so please activate it. And in fact, this is your future. Okay, your academic future. Do not joke with it. So let's go to cellular or tissue respiration. But before we talk about cellular tissue respiration, let me quickly throw some light on gaseous exchange in plants. Okay, gaseous exchange in plants. All right, so plants do not have any special respiratory organ. They no get special respiratory organ. They do not have special respiratory organ. Okay, they take in oxygen, okay, and expel oxygen, okay, and give out oxygen, okay, and how they do this is through openings in their leaves, known as as stomata, okay. They do this through openings in their leaves, okay, through openings in their leaves, known as stomata. All right, and then also it can also in the other parts like the stem, okay, like the lenticel. Like the lenticel, they also will do this in the lenticel, okay, lenticel, lenticel, okay. So this is how plants carry out their own respiration, okay. They do not have any special organs. They do this. They take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide through tiny openings in their leaves, known as stomata, and also in other parts like the lenticel in the stem of the plant. Okay, so please take note of that. There's nothing special more for us to discuss about respiration exchange in plants. Okay, all right. So let us proceed now. First of all, what is cellular respiration? Okay, when we say cellular or tissue respiration, we should know that this respiration is occurring in the cells. Okay, so like we say that cellular or tissue respiration is what is the breakdown of what of food, okay, to release what energy, okay, and of course it takes place what in cells, okay. Breakdown of what of food to release energy is what cellular respiration or tissue respiration is all about. Let me take a deep breath. All right, so now this is a special plea. I'm begging. I will kneel down. I'm kneeling down. Please, you watch a video like this, you will not like it. You will not share. You will not follow our page. Okay, that is wickedness now. Please, please support us. I'm begging. Please click on the like button. All right, and also click on the follow button. Okay, follow me or follow our page, O3 Schools page. Just click on the follow as you are watching now. It does not stop your lesson. Okay, just click on follow. All right, on our YouTube, just click on that subscribe button if you have not subscribed before. Okay, so please do all of this. Help us so that we can what grow and help others also share to your friends. Okay, not only you one pass. Okay, there's so many people who need this lesson. They are not aware that this lessons what exists. Okay, so please share it to them. Let them also come and learn. Okay, so we say cellular respiration, the breakdown of what of food to what to release what energy. Okay, and of course there are two types of what of cellular respiration. Then number one, we have the one we call aerobic respiration, aerobic. And then number two, what do I call anaerobic respiration? All right. So we have two types of what of respiration, of cellular respiration rather. We have what aerobic respiration. Number two, the anaerobic respiration. Please take note of all those two. Very, very, very important. You see many questions on them soon. Okay. So what is aerobic respiration? All right. Should I write it? Let me write it out for you so that it becomes very easy. All right. What is aerobic respiration? Okay, so aerobic respiration is a type of respiration in which oxygen is used to oxidize glucose. Okay, oxygen is used, O2. Oxygen is used to oxidize what glucose. Okay, and then what to release what carbon dioxide and water as as part of what the products. Okay, so now we say what aerobic. Sorry, I should have written down. Okay, there was no a lot of space. Aerobic respiration is a type of respiration where oxygen is used to oxidize glucose, okay, inside the cell to release CO2 and H2O. Okay, so that is what aerobic respiration. So in aerobic respiration, what oxygen is what is needed. Okay, so aerobic respiration is a type of respiration where oxygen is used to oxidize glucose, that is the food, okay, to release energy inside the cell, and also CO2 and H2O are also what's released. Okay, please take note of that. Take it down, write it down. Okay, it's very, very important. All right, so let us see the balance reaction for aerobic respiration. Let us see how our food, okay, glucose, okay, is what is being oxidized using what oxygen. All right, for example, so this is how our food is what C6H12O6. This is our glucose. Okay, so oxidation is happening. Okay, so plus what 6 molecules of what of oxygen. This is the balance reaction. This will give you, it's very, very easy, give you 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O, then plus what ATP. Very important. Okay, so this is the balance reaction for what H2O, please. H2O. All right, so this is the balance reaction for what for aerobic respiration. Oxygen is used to oxidize our food, which is what our glucose, to give us what carbon dioxide and water, plus what ATP. Okay, and in aerobic respiration 38 molecules of what of ATP is produced. Take note of that. Okay, in aerobic respiration we produce what a total of what 38 ATP. 38 molecules of ATP is produced during what aerobic respiration. Okay, and this is usually produced, like usually know, is produced in the powerhouse of the cell, which is in the mitochondria. All right, so please take note of what of that. So that is aerobic respiration, where oxygen is used to oxidize food or glucose. Okay, all right, to produce what energy alongside with what carbon dioxide and water. Okay, 38 molecules of what ATP is produced during aerobic respiration. So now what is anaerobic respiration? So for anaerobic respiration, Oxygen is not needed. Absence of oxygen. Okay, so for aerobic, oxygen is used. For anaerobic, oxygen is not used. It's not easy. Aerobic, oxygen is used. Anaerobic, oxygen is not used. Aerobic, oxygen is used. Anaerobic, oxygen is not used. Let us continue. Okay, so now let us see anaerobic respiration. So anaerobic respiration is a type of respiration, okay, which takes place in the absence of oxygen. Okay, all right, and with glucose is broken down in the absence of what? Anaerobic respiration is a type, okay, in which glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen. Okay, and what are the products that you usually get from what? From this? What to get? So get alcohol. Okay, the products we get are what? Alcohol. Okay, we get what? Carbon dioxide, and then we'll get 2 molecules of ATP. Please take note of that, okay? So for anaerobic respiration, the type of respiration where glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen. Glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen, okay? And of course, what are the products of this reaction? We get what? Alcohol, we get what? Carbon dioxide, and we get 2 molecules of ATP. Please take note of that. 2 molecules of ATP. For aerobic, we had what? 38 molecules of ATP produced. Okay, we produce 38 molecules of ATP for what? Aerobic. 2 molecules of ATP for what? For anaerobic respiration. Please take note of them. Very important. If it were not important, I would have told you so. Please take note of them. Now, what else should do what? No. Okay, there's some organisms that what? That do what? Anaerobic respiration. Okay, like for example, yeast. Okay, organisms that carry out anaerobic respiration include one of those organisms, is what? Is yeast. We have what? Yeast. We also have bacteria. Okay, yeast, bacteria, fungi also. Fungi. Okay, we also have some parasites. Okay, some endoparasites. Like earthworm. Okay, so all these organisms, organisms that carry out anaerobic respiration, is a common exam question. You will encounter them in your past questions. Okay, in fact, they come often repeated every time. All right, so these are organisms that carry out anaerobic respiration: yeast, bacteria, fungi, endoparasites, like what? Like earthworm. Okay, so now, having known that, now let us now move to what? Our tissue respiration. Okay, tissue respiration. We say tissue respiration is divided into what? Into 2 parts. It's divided into 2 parts. Okay, all right. And so number 1 is what? Is glycolysis. Okay, glycolysis. We're going to look at glycolysis in this class. The next class we'll look at what? Krebs cycle. Okay, so please take note of that. So this first part, we're talking about glycolysis. I will say what? Glycolysis is a series of reactions. It's shown on the board here, okay? It's a series of reactions which leads to the breakdown of glucose to pyruvic acid. You can see the answer to our question that we saw, past question we saw, okay? Breakdown of what? Of glucose, okay, to pyruvic. See, glycolysis involves about 10 enzymatic processes, 10 reactions, okay, to bring what? Being catalyzed by some enzymes, okay, by different enzymes, okay. So that is what glycolysis is. A series of reactions, there are many, up to 10, which leads to what? To the breakdown of glucose to pyruvic acid, okay. It occurs in the cytoplasm. Please take note of that, okay. Glycolysis occurs in the cytoplasm of cells, okay. It occurs in the cytoplasm of cells. Take note of it. Is a past question. Okay, all right. So glycolysis occurs in the what? In the cytoplasm of cells. And note that oxygen is not used in glycolysis. Okay, and like I said, there are up to what? 10 enzymatic processes involved what? In glycolysis. Okay, it's a what? A metabolic pathway. Okay, that what? Involves over 10 so that involves 10 enzymatic processes. But it is being broken down usually into 2. Okay, number 1, of those what phases, there are what two phases. One is what energy investment phase, okay, and then we now have the second what phase, okay, where what we now have what a net gain of what of ATP. Where we have what a net gain of 2 ATP, which is what the last the last stage of of the reaction. Okay, so we have 2 stages broken down into 2. Okay, there are about what? How many stages? 10 what reaction. There are about 10 enzymatic reaction broken down into 2. The first one is called the energy investment phase. Okay, 2 molecules of ATP is used to start the reaction. Okay, and at the end of the second phase, okay, 4 molecules of ATP is what is gotten. Okay, that means there's a net gain of what of how many ATP? Of 2 ATPs. There's a net gain of what? 2 ATP, because what? 2 was used to start the reaction, 4 was gotten at the end. Okay, 4 minus 2 is what? Is 2. Take note of what of that. It's a very, very important point also. So the first phase, which is called the energy investment phase. Energy investment what phase, okay, is of course begins with what? With the phosphorylation of what? Of glucose, okay, to glucose 6 phosphate. Phosphorylation of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate, okay, which is catalyzed, okay. Many enzymes, different enzymes, okay, all of those 10 reactions, there are different enzymes. The first one, this phosphorylation of glucose to glucose 6 phosphate is catalyzed by the enzyme called exokinase. Okay, it's catalyzed by the enzyme called exokinase. Take note of that. Okay, so glucose plus ATP. But remember, it's what? How many molecules of ATP? 2 molecules of what? Of ATP, of what? Of ATP. That is what? The investment phase. Okay, so you are investing in the what? In the first initial phase, with the energy investment phase, you are investing 2 molecules of ATP. All right, so that now give us what now? Glucose 6 phosphate plus what? Plus what? ADP. Glucose 6 phosphate plus ADP. This ADP here, okay, is called adenosine. Who can guess it? Diphosphate. Okay, diphosphate. Okay, it's a product of the energy investment phase of glycolysis. It's a product of the energy investment phase of glycolysis. Okay, so glucose plus ATP being catalyzed by exokinase give us glucose 6 phosphate. Okay, you see the phosphorylation of glucose happening plus what? ADP. And usually 2 molecules of ADP is usually gotten. So now, this glucose 6 phosphate is converted into what is called fructose 6 phosphate. Okay, and there's an enzyme that does this. Okay, glucose 6 phosphate is converted into fructose 6 phosphate by the action of the enzyme called glucose phosphate isomerase. Okay, all right. So glucose phosphate isomerase is the enzyme responsible for the conversion of what? Glucose 6 phosphate into what? Into fructose 6 phosphate. All right. Now, this fructose 6 phosphate is phosphorylated by another enzyme called phosphofructokinase. Okay, phosphofructokinase. Okay, into what we call fructose 1,6 biphosphate. Okay, fructose 1,6 biphosphate. All right. So now, in other reactions of glycolysis, many other reactions of glycolysis, 4 molecules of ATP are formed, okay, at the end of glycolysis. 4 molecules of ATP are formed, resulting in a net gain of what? Of 2 molecules of ATP, because at the energy investment phase, okay, we started with what? 2 molecules of ATP. All right, so now at the energy payoff phase, the second phase, which is called energy payoff. Energy payoff phase, 4 molecules of what? 4 molecules rather. 4 molecules of what? Of ATP was what? Was produced. 2 was invested, 4 was produced. Net gain will be what? 4 minus 2. Net gain will be 4 minus 2 ATP, which is what? 2 ATP. That's what I'm saying here, that in other reactions of glycolysis, 4 molecules of ATP are formed, resulting in a net gain of 2 molecules of ATP. All right. So most of like from here, mostly, I don't think JAMB really want to test you on those ones, okay? But of course, it's necessary to just, since it was pointed out, we also talk about glycolysis in your syllabus. It's important we talk about it, to pinch it, even if we do not go deep into it, all right? But then, they are necessary. Please make sure you are liking this video, make sure you are sharing, make sure you are subscribing to this channel. If you are not doing so, May God help you. All right, so let us check the past questions. Let's go to past question immediately and answer some questions. Okay. We have what? The first question here, 1995, number 16. 1995, number 16. It says here that the end product of glycolysis in plant and animals is A says pyruvic acid, B says citric acid, C says aspartic acid, D says malic acid. So I'm not going to what? Answer it. All right. In the comment section, just say it is A, if it is A, or if it is B, or if it is C, or if it is D. All right, because I've already discussed it. All right, so now 2023, number 31. So which of the following best describes anaerobic respiration? Anaerobic. Okay, remember I was saying anaerobic occurs in the absence of oxygen. A says the breakdown of glucose in the presence of oxygen to produce energy. B says the breakdown of glucose in the absence of oxygen to produce energy. C says the production of oxygen by plants during photosynthesis. This is the conversion of light energy into chemical energy. Okay, please put the answer. Say number one. The first one, if your first answer is D, say number one D, number two C. Okay, I will what? I will check if you are very correct. Okay, so now Biology 2023, number 35 says, which of the following represent the different types of respiration? We have two types of respiration, and I told you, okay, we have two types of what? Respiration. Okay, A says aerobic and anaerobic, B says external and internal respiration. All right, C says inhalation and exhalation. These are those processes. Inhalation and exhalation are processes involved in breathing. Okay, this is photosynthesis and cellular respiration. Okay, so if your answer is option D, put it there in the comment section. Okay, but I'm sure that our class has covered it. Okay, so now 2022, number 6. So the type of respiration which requires oxygen to break down glucose into water, carbon dioxide, and energy, that's ATP, is referred to as what? A says aerobic respiration, B says anaerobic, C says alcoholic fermentation, D says lactic acid fermentation. Okay, so please just put the answer there. It's very, very easy. That's why I'm not answering it. Okay, now 2009, number 20. They say the enzymes of the glycolytic pathway are located in the what? Okay, even without seeing the options, you should know that your answer is what? Start with what? Your answer starts with a letter C. Okay, A says mitochondria, B says gastric juice, C says plasma, D says cytoplasm. I will not tell you the answer. Okay, but it starts with a C. Okay, that's the only thing I can tell you. Ends with a M. All right, so please put your answer in the comment section. All right, so there are so many questions on the app. The app will help you to pass your exam at once. Okay, you cannot write JAMB twice with all three schools. Okay, please get the app, activate it. Tell your friends, if you're not telling your enemies, what you're doing is even bad. Tell your enemies, tell your friends, tell your loved ones about the application, about what these lectures, let them watch and succeed. I'll see you in the next class. We'll talk about Krebs cycle.